Hi, and welcome to an introduction to lists in Culverdocs. Lists are core to how centralized data can be stored for lookups in many ways. Columns can be referenced in workflows and have many use cases such as living lists to store data and updating entries when forms are processed. In this introduction, we're going to be covering the basics of setting up and managing a list of vehicles, importing and referencing some of those fields within the list. So let's get started by selecting Lists from the navigation menu on the left and clicking Create List in the top right-hand corner. We'll give this list a name, so let's call this Vehicles. In most cases, you'll want to leave the key type as standard. However, if you wanted to define the IDs for the data or generate an incremental ID for each option, you can change that here. Now that we've created a blank list, we're ready to start configuring columns and adding data. Think of this list like an Excel spreadsheet. It can contain as many rows and columns as you like to store and hold a variety of data. As this is a vehicle list, the name field will be the vehicle registration I want the users to see when they do the lookup. But let's add a new column here for the vehicle color and make a model which we can then use within the form. Columns can be added by clicking on Advanced and then Add Column. I'll add both of these as text options, but depending on the type of data, such as if it's a date or you want to be able to look up to another table, you can configure the column type here. Now these are added, you'll see the columns that are shown here in the page, but we haven't got any data in the list yet. To manually add an entry, click on Add option in the top right-hand corner, and you can now enter each of those new fields and then click Add New option. A very handy feature for larger lists or if you're migrating data from another system is being able to import and export via Excel. To download a copy of all of the entries inside the list, click on Import, Export, and then Export to Excel. You'll notice inside the Excel file here, there's a new ID column. This is very important as it helps the system match the data if any changes are made when you re-import the file. For any new options, leave the ID blank and it will be imported as a new option. After updating or adding new options in Excel, save the file and return to Culverdocs to import the template. By clicking Import, Export, and then Import from Excel, the wizard will guide you through importing that file. You have an option to download templates if you need to, but in our case, we've already downloaded the file to Excel. So click Next, select the file, and we'll now see a summary of the changes that are being made from the Excel import, such as the new options, the updated options, and a sample of data just to confirm the columns that have been matched. When you're ready, click Begin Import to import that data. To edit or delete an existing option, click on the pencil icon on the left-hand side. This view allows you to edit and save any changes or delete the option. Deleting columns or bulk deleting list entries has been hidden away for good reason, just to avoid accidental deletions. To enable those options, click on Advanced and Show Delete Options. You'll now see a bin icon next to each field if you wanted to delete it, or clicking into Advanced again will show you two new options to bulk delete all of the options in the list, or delete the entire list if it's no longer required. If you want to alter or reorder existing fields, click Advanced and then Show Column Configuration. This will now give you a new drop-down where you can drag fields to reorder them within the page. If the field isn't important and doesn't need to be displayed on the front screen, you can uncheck the option here. And lastly, the slider allows you to configure the column width inside the New and Edit screens. Here, I'll set both of these to half width, and when you're done, click Update Table to apply your changes. You can duplicate the list if you need to create a copy of the existing list by clicking Advanced and Duplicate List, and list settings can be used to configure advanced settings within the list. Now that we've covered off those processes around managing the list, let's use this list in a form. We'll start with a new vehicle inspection form where the first field will be a selection to look up our vehicles. Here, we'll add a new selection field, name this Select Registration, update our selection type to List/Lookup, and then under our list name, find our new list that we've created. In this case, it's Vehicles. The options here allow you to configure the sorting field in the order they're shown in, and many other options around multiple selections and so on. Using the default options will give us a simple list of registrations sorted alphabetically within the app as shown here. If you want to show additional information to the user when they look up, such as the color, we can change the view type to Extended which now gives us two new options, default search value and show list columns. By adding the color column, the app will show the color field in the app when they look up and allow them to search across any of the columns shown. Moving on to list filters, this allows you to configure dynamic filtering of the options based on another field, or by manually typing in a filter. In this example, we might want to limit the results based on the color. This can either be achieved by using manual entry and typing in the value, or more commonly you can reference another field. Using a list of basic options, I can now use this column to define the filter used within the registration. Under list filters, we'll filter our color based on the form field of color. As we can see here, the select registration is now filtered based on the color that they've selected previously. We can also extract fields from the list when the item is selected, and this can be set up under populate from list. If we add a new field into our form called make and model, we can now define our populate from list to extract the make and model from the list field and place it into our make and model field on the form once it's been selected. So within a couple of minutes, we've created a list option, pointed select fields at them, we've applied filtering and also populating from lists as well. But I hope that's given you a good overview and understanding of the initial steps to get started. We'll cover the more advanced processes such as workflows and list management in another video. If you'd like to know more about lists and how you can build them into your forms, please do get in touch.